Hey everybody, welcome to the GR Rideshare podcast. Thanks for joining us today. We got great content coming up for you. We have Justin, one of Grand Rapids Uber Lyft drivers, in to talk about a pretty crazy story he had over the weekend. We talked about our new equipment, our patron campaign that we have going on, where you can pledge $1 a month or $5 or $10 and get some pretty sweet rewards. Had a few questions about common mistakes rideshare drivers make, and if we use Uber and Lyft as riders. So I appreciate you guys listening. As we grow, we're trying to make everything sound as good as we can. Hopefully this sounds a little bit better than all our other ones with our equipment upgrades. So we appreciate it and enjoy. There we go.
Hey, now the audio is recording.
Wow. I need a checklist.
That's all right.
I know.
Hey, we didn't make it 10 minutes this time.
That's true. Only 2.
That's good.
The last podcast, 10 minutes in, we're like, Phil's like talking, and I'm just like, shit. Anyways, it transitions us into talking about our new equipment. You see that? Well, you can probably see Ben's mic on the video. But we bought a couple mics. We bought a mixer board, hopefully to get better audio. It seems to be okay, but I guess the people will be the judge of that. What else did we buy? We didn't really buy other than that. We're live streaming. We're working with some free software. I did buy a few little templates for our videos, so we're slowly transitioning to the somewhat professional level.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Ben took care of all this equipment. He gave it to me, and I was like, what's this thing?
This do?
This mixer.
There's a lot of switches.
There's a lot of switches that I don't know what we're supposed to do with, so
we'll learn.
Yeah, and as far as the podcast go, another thing, we started a Patreon account. Basically, you can subscribe to the Patreon account and get rewards. And I should have brought the rewards up, as I'm a terrible host, just to see, but I can bring it up real quick. But so like $1. No, I can't bring it up. Oh yeah. $1 or more gets you early release to videos and our podcast and a thank you email.
Except for live, because it'd be really hard to early release a live
No,
video.
not the live ones. The like the ones that we posted today.
Oh yeah.
So Justin got a sneak preview. $1 or more per month. 5 gets you a handwritten note from us.
That's scary with my handwriting.
A digital shout out. So not a voice shout out, but a digital shout out, meaning I'll put it on the screen.
There you go.
So that's 5. That's level 2. Level 3, which is our last level, is $10 a month. You get a live shout out on our podcast or YouTube video, your choice. Be on a podcast with us and a phone call about rideshare, which I think that's good.
That'd be fun.
If someone's like, oh, you guys seem to know a lot, I want to call you and ask you questions. So $10 a month. And all that does is support the equipment, the bandwidth, all the logo crap and stuff. So anyways, that is, the website for that is patron.podbean.com/grrideshare. So enough of the plugs, and so we'll get into it. So let's talk about our last week. Both nights? Or did you just drive Friday and Saturday? Can you remember back that far?
I don't know, Friday. Yeah, I did, because Friday was my great trip.
Was that Friday?
I think so.
I thought that was Saturday.
It might have been Saturday.
It was Saturday.
Maybe
it was Saturday.
Yeah.
I believe I drove Friday for a little bit, too.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the lights. Sometimes
it makes you look good, so.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's our next upgrade.
The lights.
Is some lighting?
Well, I don't know why they flicker. I'll have to ask my electrician. I mean, like, I don't know. It's an old house. But some sort of lighting, like, maybe we could shut these off and put it right here. I don't know. So you drove just Saturday?
Yeah, I just drove on Saturday night this week.
And I drove just Saturday. It was busy.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
Do you think it was the PBR?
I think that was part of it, but I honestly didn't have a whole lot of riders that
I didn't either.
went. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it was the mix of the snow. Yeah, that your ride was Saturday night because all the snow in the video.
Yep.
But I didn't have anything crazy. Well, Justin did. We'll talk about
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
But what about you?
Well, I got a little, I wouldn't call it an altercation, but it was pretty close with the taxi driver. I was coming from, let's see, Pepino's, so down Ionia.
Okay.
This is at bar close time. My passenger is at Hopcat, so I'm coming that way, and there's a taxi coming the opposite way. And so when you get to that intersection where Hopcat is, the traffic from the other direction has to stop. So there's a vehicle there stopped, and I'm waiting to turn left into that little alley to pick up my passengers.
Which is a great spot.
Oh, yeah.
To pick people up.
Well, that's so the cops are sitting there.
Yeah,
Yes.
they sit on the opposite side.
Exactly. So I'm trying to get in there. I've got my blinker on. The car that's waiting to cross the street or turn or whatever he's doing, he's sitting there waiting patiently. But then there's this taxi coming from the opposite way, so coming my direction, heading opposite direction, and he's just not paying any attention at all. It's like he's trying to make eye contact with potential riders outside of Hopcat, not paying any attention at all. I'm waiting to turn left. Finally, he notices me, and then he must have thought that he had a stop sign or something, because he just sits there and continues to sit there. So we got 3 cars just sitting. So finally, I just laid on my horn. I'm like, come on, let's go, taxi guy. So, and it was one of those weird situations where I started to go, but then he started to go, and then I started to go. That's when I laid on the horn, and it's just like, let's go. Come on. So he gave me a friendly greeting as he drove by.
Yeah.
You know, his middle finger.
Middle finger.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so that is actually an interesting intersection because I have stopped myself there thinking that there's a stop sign.
It's not a 4-way.
I know it's not, but not that I'm defending him, but I have stopped there on occasion thinking it, because maybe it's because we go so slow through there because there's a lot of pickups and a lot of traffic, but I have stopped there before and been like, oh, I don't need to stop here. So in his defense, I have stopped there before, but on that same intersection, I just remembered something that happened. It's not a big deal, but somebody blew through the stop on Commerce, which there is a 4-way stop there.
Yep.
I'm waiting to turn left, and my turn, and this car just, I'm like, okay, good thing I was paying attention. So
No kidding.
yeah, but other than that, we made good money.
Yeah,
It was surging. It was like it used to be back a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best night I've had other than... What night did we have? We had New Year's, that's obvious. But didn't we have one other night this year so far that seemed like... It was just
I know Jesper had a really good night.
$500 that weekend.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was going on. If it was weather or whatnot, but... Anyways.
Some of us had a good night.
This past weekend?
Yeah.
Did you go out after that, or did you go home?
No, I stayed out because I was not ending my evening that way.
No, fair enough. We'll talk about Justin's trip from hell. So nothing crazy. I mean, other than Justin, we'll talk about that. So that's good.
I got locked in a bathroom. Well, not the bathroom, the Meyer gas station. So I got locked in. So this is on 28th Street, the Cascade Meyer gas station. Apparently, they lock the doors to the gas station at a certain point.
Yeah, like at midnight.
Yeah, so I had just dropped off a couple of passengers.
I remember you talking about going to get a snack.
Yeah, so I went to use the bathroom, came out 2 minutes later, and there's a sign on the door, and the door is locked, and I can't get out. So it's like, well, I guess we'll go find a snack. But by that,
not a healthy one.
Yeah, right. So they had sushi though. There's sushi at the Meyer gas station.
I mean, how legitimate is it?
Seriously, at gas station sushi.
I've never eaten sushi, so I don't.
Really?
Look at how excited you got.
We'll have to change that.
It's raw fish, right?
Not all of it. I mean, that's some, but But anyway,
I'm American, bro.
so I didn't think anything of it. I didn't realize what was really going on, so I just got some food and took my time, got up to the cash register, and they're all closed. And I was like,
hello?
oh, I see what happened. So there were still employees in there.
Right.
Because they've got that window
Yeah, they're
that
open
you can
24 hours.
go in, get your grub from the window.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I had
funny.
that night that I was going to go to St. Clair.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped at that one, and I was asking her about Apple Pay, and through that window, like, hey, does Apple Pay work? It works in here. I'm like, okay, well, can I put my phone in there through the hole and scan it? She's like, no. I'm like, well, then you're not helping me. Like, I spent way too much time. In that time, that's when the girl decided she didn't want to go to St. Clair, so I blame that gas station attendant for that.
It's all her fault.
All right, what about taxes? It's tax season.
Yes, it
If
is.
you follow any of the... Are you in any of the national groups?
No.
Oh. Good for you.
I'm not.
Good for
I
you,
refuse.
too. Well, I was for a while, and then I went out, and now I'm back in, and I don't know why. Probably just to post videos in there. But you see a lot of their posts, and it's all about taxes. No one understands. And this year there's a weird...
Threshold.
Clause? Yeah, threshold.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's the
Yeah.
right word. So you have to make more than $20,000 and a certain
More
amount
than
of
200 rides. You have to meet both of those.
which is super weird because you're not making anywhere close to. Oh, so it's just over. Yeah, can you explain that? a
Yeah.
little bit?
Well, it's not just it sounds weird. You have to have at least $20,000 and 200 rides. They're not really concerned as much about the rides as they are the transactions.
Okay.
With the sharing economy, that in other sharing economy stuff, whether it's dog walking or whatever, if you have 200 transactions, that is the one that like dominates for some reason. I don't know. It's weird.
So what are they not getting that they got last year?
They're
The
not getting a
1099.
1099
They're
at
not?
all. No.
You just get a summary.
Yep.
Because that's all I got was a summary.
Yep. That's
So
why.
It's basically the same thing, though, right? Or not? Like for
It has the same information that the 1099 had last year,
right.
but the IRS has changed their rules so that sharing economy businesses don't have to write those 1099s unless they meet that threshold criteria.
Does it help us on taxes by any means?
No, not really. I mean, it's just the same as what it was before.
So everyone's freaking out for really no reason. Still has the same amount of information
Yes.
on there.
It does, absolutely.
What about that? I see people talking about the transaction where you can write off. Is it the booking fee or the?
All of that is listed
Is
on
it?
that summary. The tax summary is different this year with Uber. In years past, the tax summary, I've looked at mine, that's basically what it is. It's a summary.
Yeah, it's got each month.
Yep.
So Lyft has that.
Okay.
Lyft is the standard the 1099.
Yeah.
Each month, January made this, February made this,
Yep.
March made this.
Yep.
So I don't know why everyone's freaking out then.
I'm not sure because I read the IRS website and it basically said just use whatever information you're provided by the
So
company.
you read something.
Oh, yeah.
So you did some research.
I did.
I'm wondering if those people on those Facebook pages have read the same thing.
Yeah. And Uber has links. Like they have a whole tax frequently asked questions
Okay.
with links to the IRS websites. And that's where you can read all about these third-party transaction blah, blah, blah stuff.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I haven't looked into it all because I just handed it to my accountant. I'm hoping
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
There you go.
I don't know if he is. He seemed to last year, but if anything's changed, I don't know. He
Yeah.
seems to be on top of it. But
Well, this year, TurboTax is doing, like, they're not charging anything to file state and federal.
really?
And you get the Schedule
Itemize?
K. You
Or
can.
You can itemize.
Oh, yeah. It's the self-employed TurboTax. It's free through Uber. I read it was only through the month of February, so you might want to get on that.
Yeah.
But I did it.
No problem.
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, the interview, like TurboTax, they call it the interview.
Yeah, I have definitely used that for many years up until maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it had questions specific to ride sharing, and it listed certain things that could be considered deductions. And
then you can obviously do the lift on that too.
Yep.
Like, okay. What about you?
I just handed it to my guy.
Yeah. See, thank you.
So there you go.
I don't know what the heck to do with this. Please
Yeah.
get me the cheapest taxes known to man. So you've been doing it. So you started probably what then? Oh, like July.
Yeah, end of
Somewhere
July,
around there.
beginning of
So
August.
you got like
something.
6 months worth.
Yep.
So, well, I know you didn't make as much as Phil.
No, Phil's taking care of him.
Phil, yeah,
Phil's buying himself a new car as long as his taxes go good. He says.
yeah, that's crazy how much he's worked. But all right, well, is that tax information the TurboTax? Can you find it in the app, or do you have to go to the desktop?
I found it on the desktop page. So the way I got to it is you go to partners.uber.com
Okay,
and click on the tax information,
and it has all the links.
and then you'll see a big, you can't miss it. It's a big advertisement for TurboTax. File for free. And it actually is.
It's interesting
for free.
why they're doing it. Usually they give you like the federal free, but you have to
Yeah.
pay for the state.
Not this
How are
time.
they making any money on it?
I have no idea. I don't know, but I'll
Is
take
Uber
it.
paying them just a small percentage per download or something?
Perhaps. I'm
I
not
don't
even
know.
sure.
It seems crazy, but
I think that's why they're capping it at February. Like, you can't go
That's
in
true.
March or April and be like, oh, I need to do my taxes.
I literally filed my taxes the day before April 14 because I've set up my deductions so that I usually pay the state like $200 to $500, and then I usually get $1,000 back from federal. I don't like I talked to Nick about this. He likes that big check for all his kids and all that stuff. Like, I'm gonna blow it on something stupid. Like, I want my money during the year, so I'm not
Sure.
tempted. But
Yeah, I always pay the state and old federal, and even with doing the riding this year, it was about the same. So
you've done them already?
yeah,
Oh wow. You
Better
all
get
done
out.
too?
I'm done. Well, I had reason to get done early this year.
Oh, you going on a trip?
Well, no. We adopted from foster care this year.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of tax breaks.
yeah. So we thought we'd get on that early.
I feel like I don't do it early because I get some interest stupid thing from a bank that
Oh.
made $3 on interest or something like that, and then I have to go make an addendum or
Yeah.
something. So I wait till the last minute. But all right, let's talk about Justin's trip.
It sounds very reminiscent of the trip I
it's
had to
pretty
Benville.
close.
Hence
Cheers.
my title in all of me talking about the video on YouTube is it was really close.
That's crazy.
So
The female version.
the
Yeah.
female version, and not as far as the drive, and so yeah. Why don't you? I mean, you don't have to spend 30 minutes on it, but
I mean, you probably could.
he
Yeah.
gave a good synopsis on Telegram. Although I did listen to it like 3 or 4 times just so I kind of knew. And once I started watching and editing the video, what you said really set in. It was hard when you were just saying it.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm trying to picture this, but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, really, I mean, it started kind of like any other ride at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know,
Yeah.
they're drunk, they're looking to get home, and
Yeah. Pretty
that's
standard.
what it is. And I just literally grabbed somebody from the woods, brought him over to the Leonard Broadway area. I mean,
Yeah.
4 minutes away, and right back to the woods. So I was like,
Okay.
sweet,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
Nobody was in front, so I kind of snuck there where you're not supposed to. But I was like, you know, hopefully they're waiting for me.
So right in front of the doors, you
Yeah.
can't pick up there?
I mean,
Isn't that a loading zone?
It's not.
It's not? It's no parking? It literally kicks into the...
Kicks into a turn lane.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
well, but I was like, nobody's here, you know.
Yeah, I always
And there was
park
like
there.
4 people outside, so I was like, this should be easy. Hopefully they're waiting for me.
Yeah.
Well, as you see in the video, it took her like, I don't know, 6 minutes to figure out that I was right next to her.
Yeah.
So I was
Which
kind
is
of,
common
Yeah.
when they're really drunk.
yeah, and I'm kind of thinking like, this is, you know, whatever. But so she fell into the car. You know, fell. It's hard to pick up on the video, but she like says, "Sorry, I'm wasted."
I heard it. And maybe I heard it because you told me
Right.
that that's
Yeah.
what she said.
And she's
but-
like, "I'm wasted," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so is everybody else I'm picking up. So,
yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
No judge here.
Yeah, that's kind of why I do rideshare anyways. It's, I'd rather, yeah, you make money, but it's nice to know that somebody's not driving the wrong way down 131
or 96.
Yeah, or
which we just had like a couple weeks ago.
Right. So, and I get in and I confirm the address with her, and she's kind of on the phone. I don't know who she's talking to.
You could hear that.
Yeah.
You could hear that guy. Like, I feel like he was super concerned about her and wondering where she was going.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know, to go backwards, was texting the whole time, but obviously she was out of it.
Yeah.
And the paramedics was like, oh, well, he's wondering where you're at.
Right.
So hopefully, I don't know anything that happened after the ride, but...
that's the frustrating part.
It is frustrating. Right. Like I said to you earlier, you could get the police report. I mean, that's public information, so they may not know that either. It may just say... Well,
I'm pretty sure after Walker PD wiped their hands, but they were like,
I'm out.
We're done.
Yeah. Write a quick report, and yeah.
So, I tried to confirm the address with her, and she was mumbling. And watching back the video, I actually figured out the address that probably she needed to go.
Yeah.
But it took me like 6 times watching the video, so
there's
no way I was going to do it driving down the road.
In such an anxious state, too. You're not...
Right.
You're clear head watching the video. You're like, you're calmed down and
Right.
everything, but when it's happening, you're like...
And that's why I pulled over. I said, let's pull over and, get your address and get you home. And she was on her phone, and she's just rapid going through her phone, and then she hands me her phone. And she's like, here, go here. Take my phone. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to take your phone. Right. I'm not going to start that right now.
Yeah, I'm going to copy the address.
I'll copy the address and we'll go there. She's like, okay. And, we start on our journey. She gave me an address, and I saw it was kind of by Meyer, and I saw it was in Walker, and I asked her, Yep.
Yeah, I definitely heard that.
And I'm like, okay, I'll bring her home. Hopefully, I mean, she's in the front seat. She seems fine, other than drunk.
Yeah.
I got on Lake Michigan Drive, and she's just bobbing and moving and bobbing and moving, and I'm like, great. Well, as we're getting closer, I'm looking at my GPS, and I'm like, the pin is in the middle of Lake Michigan Drive.
Middle of the road.
I'm like, this is not the right address. And I'm like, you know what? We'll get there. I know I can pull into Meyer. I can pull into the side road.
Yeah.
I'll wake her up and figure it out, because, this is the address she gave me.
Yeah.
So, pull over to the side of the road. I can't get her to wake up. I'm yelling at her. I pulled into a gas station. I actually hopped a curb. Like, I'll try to jar the car, So I'm not going to, like, you don't touch somebody. You don't, nothing. I can't do anything. So, I don't know if I messaged the whole group, but I at least messaged Nick. I'm like, what do I do?
Well, you did. And when I was editing that video, I didn't hear it unless you cut that part out.
I might have.
Yeah, because I didn't hear you talking to anyone.
You know what? It might have just been a text.
I swear you talked about it in there, but maybe it was after the fact.
Right.
I think it was a text.
Yeah, I think.
So I remember reading, and I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was like, what do I do? So, long story short, I called the police, and they showed up surprisingly pretty quick. I mean, like I said, it was snowing. It wasn't the greatest night traffic-wise. She got there, and she couldn't really get her to do anything either. I mean, she was shaking her. Obviously they can touch them and move them. Yeah. But she had no ID. I mean, she had a student ID, so they, had her name, but they couldn't get an address off of that.
Oh, man.
So it just has the name?
Yeah. Just had her name for Grand Valley. And, they're like, well, they had her do a breathalyzer. They got her to do that, and that was pretty darn high.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But, the cop was kind of concerned, like, I don't think this is just alcohol, because she didn't smell. I mean, we all had people in the car that were like,
yeah,
I never once smelled booze at all.
Now, this is maybe because I don't know. If you drink vodka, it's odorless, right? So if you were drinking, like, vodka and what do you mix it with?
Red Bull or,
something like that.
Well, you might smell the Red Bull.
Right.
I mean, that's
sure.
right, but something that's a mixer. Will you smell that?
I don't know.
I don't drink vodka, so.
Yeah. All I know is I've never seen somebody that basically just, I mean, she was blackout drunk. Like, she didn't know what she was doing. I don't know why the cops left her in the car. I don't know if they just didn't want to deal with her.
Super frustrating. I mean, you're like, okay, I want to be done.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, he's like, the second officer showed up and he's like, hey, you can get back in. We'll wait for medical. And I'm like,
Shouldn't you be in here too?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like, okay, I guess, I'm not going to argue with him, but, and medical got there pretty quick, and that's when she kind of came to, but not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't show it in the video, and I didn't want to, grab my dash cam and be like, hey, here you go.
You thought about it, though,
I did.
You?
I looked at it.
I saw you. I saw you look at it, thinking about it.
Do I? No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a good call.
No. And, so, yeah, and, I mean, they put her on the gurney, and she really kind of fought it for a minute, and then all of a sudden she's right back to, I'm not here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, you do worry that you wonder if she maybe was roofied.
Yeah.
Well, Nick brought that up. Is that the case, or is it she? I mean,
I don't know how people react. I thought they just go out. Like she did. I mean, she definitely was passed out, but I don't think she was out. Especially when the police was. I mean, she wasn't making any sense, but she was at least moving a little bit.
I don't know if it's in the video. I don't think it picked it up, but she kept turning to me. Why? I think the door was still open, and she kept telling me, "Just go."
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Just go.
I looked for that. Yeah.
I was like, "No, we're not gonna go." And now that I think about it, that might have been when I noticed the camera had shut off, because it did shut off for 4 minutes or something like that. And I was like, "No, we're not gonna go anywhere. We're just gonna."
So were you idle at that point?
Yeah, we were just.
Yeah, the camera goes off after a few minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a different camera.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Well.
He needs to upgrade.
I do need to upgrade. I learned that this past weekend.
It wasn't as bad as it started out. Maybe because I was looking at it for a while there, but it seemed to improve a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I just got used to it. But.
Right. Yeah, for what I paid for it, I guess it's decent.
Well,
and it did its job.
It did its job. It CYA'd. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
And you did a great job. You did. I said that in the title. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. You should never touch a passenger.
Right.
Because...
Unless you're filming it.
Well... was that
Speaking from experience.
Well...
I mean, it was a, hey, wake up.
Let me rephrase that. Male to female interaction.
Absolutely.
I didn't even feel comfortable. I've had one before I picked up over at, there's that coffee shop. Bittersweet on
Bitter End.
Bitter End.
I picked up a kid there at 3 in the morning one day holding a pizza box. I don't know where he came from.
Hey, bro.
But he hailed an Uber, and I picked him up, and I had to bring him to Marn.
Oh, man.
And he was in the back seat, and I know he was passed out because he never even said a word.
Yeah, man.
And I got to his house, pull in the driveway, turn on the light. Sir, we're here. Nothing. I ended up taking his pizza box and I'm shoving it into him. And finally woke up. But
wow.
I don't want to touch anybody.
Well,
you don't want to cross that boundary.
I don't mind. I would do what you did. Although I might not with him because he seemed feisty, like he wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Didn't you say he was?
I mean, he was charging at the bouncer.
Right.
But by the time we got home, he had kind of mellowed out a little bit.
No, he said, "Stop calling me sir."
That's got to be a ringtone.
No, it's the best. Hashtag stop calling me
You saw the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be a ringtone.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever pushed anybody. Had to do that. I've had people pass out, but I turn the light on and
like I said, it's not out of the ordinary, and it wasn't really an out of ordinary trip before, because I mean we've all had people get in, you confirm the address, nope, I need to go here.
Yeah.
Or, oh, why is that the address, go here. And that part really didn't start any different than 80% of the trips late at night, but when she wouldn't wake up, I was like,
it's a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm like, well, what do I do now?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like I said, thankfully Walker PD got there pretty quick.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
The medics got there pretty quick, and
and
Uber actually did follow up with me today. They had because I tried to get a hold of Uber right away, which we all know how quick that goes.
So I have a question: why did you get Uber involved?
I more or less wanted to make sure that if for some reason, because I know there's no way she remembers what's going on.
No, for sure.
That if she reached out to Uber, what is this from? Or, because it was an expensive trip. I obviously left everything on because I...
Right, you need to be covered by insurance by Uber when you have a passenger in the car,
So, and I just wanted to be in front of it, I think. Yeah. More or less than anything.
That's fair enough.
And it took me 4 days, really, to get Uber to... I mean, they finally responded today, And I mean, the lady was very nice on the phone. She recorded my statement. She asked if I had video. I'm like, yeah. She said, she just, was very thankful and said, thank you for, doing what you did. And she was gonna reach out to the passenger and try to do a wellness check. Which I mean, I think on Uber's part, that's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
whether they do it or not.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know.
I'm a little skeptical. But.
It took them 5 days to get back to me.
Well,
So.
You got to imagine the volume. I mean, we do give them a hard time. I mean, I give the support a hard time because it's automated and it's not in America.
Yeah,
so you're getting people that can't barely speak English, and it's very
this lady was right from. I mean, the only reason I ordered it or answered the call today it was San Francisco, and I'm like, maybe it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she was very polite.
I'm sure that support's in the States here.
Yeah, I mean, she was. I give them credit. I was hoping I'd have some kind of information about it, and she, was pretty thankful. She said if there was any questions, she'd get back in touch with me, and she hasn't yet. So hopefully,
there you go.
I'm sure she's okay. I'm sure. I mean, you did the right thing. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it could have been terrible for her, being vulnerable like that. And we're not heroes by any means, but it does feel good to be like. At least you got her. If you did drop her home, at least you got her home safe. Like nothing's gonna happen, and it can go for guys too. But I have a daughter, so I hope she doesn't drink to that excess because I'd be pissed. But
no kidding.
Just if you do, I don't want to know about it. But I would want someone to make sure she got home.
Right.
Exactly.
And I kind of told my kids, the next morning, I said, "Man, you guys aren't gonna see the video, but if that ever happened to you guys, for sure, I'd hope somebody took care of them."
Yeah.
But
I showed my video to my son.
Yours was...
It wasn't horrible.
No. I mean, I don't know how old your kids are, but...
I think the older ones probably would have.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any swearing or anything.
No, it was just like I said, and I know Nick's brought it up. I don't know if that was just alcohol.
Yeah. Seriously.
But... She was probably 100 pounds too, so I mean, if she drank like a fish, right? I mean, if you actually listen to the video, it takes her a minute to even figure out where she's at.
Yeah.
When she's trying to tell me that she's standing in front of the woods.
Yeah.
And if you smelled the alcohol, you probably would have said you wouldn't have thought of drugs, but not smelling anything.
Yeah.
But all right, well, at least you're safe, and you did the right thing. So, couple other things. We always kind of like to ask some questions. Some questions that either passengers might have or other drivers, but we'll just get our responses to that. What is a common mistake we see rideshare drivers do? I mean, besides the driving, I mean, that one's huge. That's kind of a whole separate topic where they're parking where they're not supposed to or picking up in a traffic lane. And I'm not trying to call you out, but you brought her name up. So when I pick someone up, I'm like, what's the name? Mm-hmm. Because I have been burned by that before. I said, hey, what is your name? David.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, and it wasn't the guy. So don't mean to call you out on that.
And I normally say it that way, and I don't know if it was because I was watching her talk on the phone right next to the car.
Yeah.
I just kind of, assumed. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
No, it's just something, that's a common mistake that I see and hear people talk about. What about you?
Yeah, kind of along that thread. I think it's really important to, when you pull up to a busy bar and you're picking up, lock your door, roll down your window. That way you can confirm their name before anybody gets in your car. But one mistake that I've made a few times is not doing that. And then the door opens and some random drunk guy just falls into your car and he's like, I need you to take me. I'll pay you cash. It's just like, get out of my car.
Right. It happens so quick sometimes. But I've been burned with that too. My car actually at 10 miles an hour I have it set up where all the doors lock.
Okay.
So I have to actually remember to physically unlock it. It does not unlock when you put in park only the drivers. The rest of them stay locked.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so then I sometimes forget.
Well, you'll have to show me that trick.
Yeah, seriously.
So sometimes I will forget and hit the unlock, and they're trying to get in, which is nice. But yeah, I do the same thing. only when busy bar close time.
Yeah.
I don't typically roll the window down every time.
No, like if I'm picking up at their house, it's completely different.
Right, exactly. So
depends on where their house is.
True.
Yeah. You shouldn't be picking up in that area anyways.
So sometimes
cancel.
Yeah.
Do you have anything other than that you see that you've done in the past or?
Along that line, I've had people jump in, or you see somebody or they're coming out and you unlock your door and then somebody's coming from this side and you're like, whoa.
It's so quick.
Yeah.
And then the problem is, like you said, if they're super drunk, you're like, okay, now how am I going to get... Then you have to be firm. I mean, I've yelled at people before because they won't get out and I'm like panicking, like what is going... Get out. I don't... You're not associated with me. I don't know you. Yeah. Like you're not the customer. That can be stressful.
Yeah.
So, I think that's it. A lot of it's driving. I mean, we don't know a lot what mistakes they made, which we'll talk about unless you're a passenger, which that's the next question. Do you take it as a passenger? Because the rideshare guy always says, do it. Mm-hmm. So you know the platform, not know it, but you know what to expect. Yeah. You know what not to do.
Exactly.
I know when I've been in Detroit, no one has phone mounts. No one.
Yep. Chicago's the same way.
This is how they're looking at the GPS.
They're looking, yeah.
Or holding their phone.
Yeah, holding it, or it's in between their legs, and that's the common one. And I'm like,
scary.
I actually just bought 2 new phone mounts today.
Yeah.
Because I can't figure out where I want it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have to. Well, we might have a different dash. You definitely yours is updated a little bit, but I have a perfect spot in mine. I actually bought a magnet one, so it's perfect. But I have taken it. I actually have a lower rating as a passenger than I do as a driver on Uber. I don't know why. I mean, I've taken it while I've been having some brewskis, but never to the point of your friend
passed out.
Saturday.
Oh man.
So or throwing up or
sure.
any of that. But yeah, I'm a 4.77, and I've taken Uber probably 20 times.
Wow.
So I don't know.
A couple people now.
I know. Man. It actually kind of bums me out. Like this guy clearly didn't like me, but
I've taken it like 3 or 4 times. I think. I mean, I don't go out a lot, but
yeah, I don't either.
I took it home from the hospital one day because my wife was like, "I'm not staying here with you anymore."
Right.
So she went out to dinner, and I just took an Uber home. But
there you go.
I've taken it to stuff down.
Both platforms are just
Uber. I've never taken as a Lyft.
I actually try to stick to Lyft. But
yeah, me too.
Where was my son and I were in Detroit, and we were trying to get a ride to I almost said Joe Louis Arena, Little Caesars Arena. Or maybe that was coming home. No, that was when it was letting out. Side note, it let out, and complete side note, it was a hockey game. There was no surging going on. It was super weird. But we waited there, and Uber was 15 minutes away, and Lyft was 2 minutes away.
It's amazing.
So I went with Lyft. But if it was vice versa, I would take Uber. But I prefer to take Lyft. I just like it better.
Yeah.
So
I've had better experiences with Lyft drivers as well, especially in GR. I went to a hockey game with my son, and we took Uber back. No, sorry, it was Lyft. Yeah, we had a great driver. He was just a retired guy driving this tricked out Ford car. It was like a prototype, and he just talked our ear off about cars and just super friendly, nice guy. My son loved it because the car was pretty incredible.
Huh.
So,
do you ever, when you take it as a passenger, do you tell them that you're a driver?
Sometimes, sometimes not.
I sit back and wait.
Yeah.
I just see if this, I'm never going to say, hey, you need a phone mount. I'm just going to report you on the app, But if you're a cool guy, like the guy you had, cool driver, I'm like, hey, man, I drive too. And then you kind of have a little bond. But sometimes they're terrible drivers, and you're just like, I can't wait to get out of this.
Yeah, the one I took back from the hospital reeked of cigarettes.
Oh,
but it reeked of cigarettes like I'm trying to cover it up.
Oh.
I sat in the back seat. It was an Equinox, and he had I kid you not, I don't know how many of those vent sticks thrown up in his deflectors. And that's all I could see in the reflection. Yeah. I'm like, it's not working, Doug.
I don't know why they just can't. I mean, I get it. It's a pain. just pull to the side of the road and step out your car and smoke. And
seriously,
it'll cut it down 90%. You're still gonna have a little bit in there because it's on your clothes and the air circulates and stuff. But we had a Thursday night. We took a lift home from Megan and I, and to the point where she says she doesn't want to do ride sharing again, and she's like, I thought all you guys were like us. Like,
seriously,
clean cars, take care of their cars.
I hear that so often from passengers, like, oh wow, your car is so clean.
Yeah.
Right. And I really don't do that much. I wipe it down like once a week. It's not like I'm in there with like a toothbrush.
Yeah.
I mean,
I normally have 7 kids in my car, so I mean, you can only imagine. But
well, then that's a miracle that you can do that because I keep my kids out of it. They rarely go in my pilot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There are car seats in there because I do take them occasionally. But, we take the van, which is a dump.
Well, maybe it's because my van used to be a dump that I'm like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, just pick up after yourselves, I guess.
Seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one terrible Uber ride. My car was at Bell Tire. It wasn't today, but...
What happened today?
Yeah, oh, well...
I actually don't know what happened. You do not have to talk about it. Okay,
well, today...
Nick.
Yeah, this is for you, Nick. You wanted me to talk about it, so...
No, he didn't want you to talk about it. I said... If he wants to talk about it, he can.
Ah, there you go.
So,
well, today I was working my day job, and I was coming up on a corner, and it's one of those moments where it's like, oh crap, that's the street I'm supposed to turn on. So, with snow on the ground...
You tried to negotiate the turn?
I tried to do the turn, and it did not negotiate well. So, I ended up kind of hitting a curb. Not kind of, I mean really hitting a curb. And this is like... less than a mile from Bell Tire. So I'm like, I can probably limp this along.
Yeah.
So I tried. It didn't work. I made it to one stoplight before Bell Tire. So the tow truck showed up to get me and literally took me through a parking lot to get to Bell Tire.
Did he laugh?
He laughed really hard. So he was
all
a good
the way
guy.
To the bank.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's 2 ways that they can bill you for such service. They can do what's called an accident tow, which is a lot more expensive, or they can do what's called an owner assist tow. And he's like, I feel really bad for you, man. This sucks. I'll just do an owner assist and we'll call it good. So save me some money on the tow.
Yeah.
But anyway, so a couple of years ago, I was getting new tires on my car, and I figured I'll just take Uber back home after I get the tires put on.
That's what it's there for. That's the beautiful thing.
Exactly.
You're out of the car, you're like, I'm just going to take an Uber.
Yeah, so I'm not going to sit in the waiting room. I'll just go home.
Right.
So I took an Uber. Well, the car shows up. The car's right, but the driver's not.
That's weird.
That's really weird. And not only that, but the driver who is registered to the Uber platform is sitting in the passenger seat. And her sketchy boyfriend is driving. I'm just like, this is really bizarre.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of the adventurous type. I don't know.
Where's the story going to go?
I don't know if you knew that or not. I mean, driving to Fenville.
I would never have guessed you are, but I know that now.
So I took the trip. I didn't cancel. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going with the 2 people. It was a fine ride, but it was just really bizarre. It's like, seriously?
And that brings up a couple of things. If you're new to rideshare as a passenger, you should always check the app that the picture matches.
Yep.
The plate. And I do have people, I kind of roll my eyes when they do it. I'm like, come on, just get in the car. I want to go.
Yeah.
But you should do that.
It's just
car.
be safe.
Well, I picked up a passenger once coming home from work because I work nights. So it was like 5:30 in the morning. And I picked him up and he was going to the airport. So I'm like, this is sweet. And my old car, the Traverse, the license plate was on the lift gate.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm putting his bags in and he's just standing there while he was waiting for my plate. Well, he's from South Africa. He's like, you don't get in the car unless you know it's the right car.
So dangerous there.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
And he's like, not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust
I don't
you.
trust you.
That's all right.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I have people that obviously just notice my plate, but...
Yeah.
So,
Uber it.
Yeah, Uber it, baby.
That's so funny. You should get Lyft it.
It's taken.
I thought about it. Really?
Yeah, I thought about doing that for my wife's
Lyft
car.
it?
Yeah.
Bummer.
And it was already gone.
How much does that cost?
Like $35.
Yeah,
it?
it's not that much more.
No.
Um,
And last year, I don't know if they'll do it this year, but if you did the custom plate, you got the free park pass.
Oh.
So really, it's
Yeah.
$25. So.
yeah.
Seriously, that's nice.
Yeah, speaking of plates, this is my government gripe, that legislators passed a law that if a plate is 10 years old now, you have to get it replaced. So it only cost me $5 additional, but I had to go down to the Secretary of State to do it.
That's
and
a
it
pain.
was annoying. I mean, my license was due this year, too, in March. March 6th, that's my birthday. Don't forget, write it down.
March 6th.
Yeah. I'm going to be 30. And
For the second time.
yeah, right. So it's just annoying that
You got to get in line ahead of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you want to hear the story about? I mean, it's not the greatest story, but I get online. I know about that stuff. I do that. The No Wait app at Anna's house. Like we sit here, watch it go down, and then we go, so we don't have to wait. Did that? Thought I clicked the right one. Clearly, was picked the southeast one and not the Rogers Plaza one. So I waited 45 minutes at home, and at 20 minutes they say you should drive. I get there, I had 8 minutes. Realized I was at the wrong one, so I just clocked in on the little iPad or screen right at the beginning. 50 minutes.
50?
Well, see, this is what you do, and this is what I do from home, because I live pretty close to Rogers Plaza.
Yeah.
I let it expire.
Okay.
Because once it expires, you have 30 minutes to rejoin the line and you go right to the front.
Really?
So you just hit J after it expires, so I'll literally get to Rogers Plaza, walk inside, hit J. I'm good to
But you have to pick the right
yeah, that
place.
would, yeah.
Doesn't
Well,
help
you could
me.
have drove there in less than 50 minutes.
You know, that's a good point. Justin, I need you around more.
Seriously.
I have these like brainiac things where I'm just like, well, with your video, I sped all that up instead of just cutting it out. I should have just cut it out. Jesper and I were talking. I'm like, I was tired. Like, why did I just cut it out?
Split, cut.
Yeah, instead of like trying to. Ugh. Anyways, all right. Couple of things. We're trying to figure out our format here, but we're now going to do 2 trending Uber topics or rideshare, I should say. We always say Uber. It's like Kleenex, right? You just say
It's
I'm going to
true,
Uber.
yeah.
Uber it.
You're going to take an Uber home.
Right. I'm taking an Uber home, and I'm going to say I'm taking a Lyft. That's lame, even though I like Lyft better.
It's
but,
true.
So 2 trending rideshare topics into whatever topics. So one, I saw that Uber had partnered with MAD. I don't know exactly what they did, but they ran some stats on drunk driving accidents. And I've always talked to people. I'm interested to see those 10-year. I mean, obviously they're already our stats, but how much it has really affected.
Yeah.
The counter to that, where people say, well, how do you counter like drunk driving? They say that Uber and Lyft encourages more drinking. Do you feel that? Like, I mean, you don't go out and party and everything like that, but do you feel that it does?
I guess the only way to measure that would be to look at the type of passenger and their level of drunkenness when I started compared to now.
I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, there's no way stat-wise to be able to do that.
But I think there might be some truth to that, because if people are not going to drive, I mean, they're just going to go do their thing.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Find an Uber and hopefully make it home.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
hopefully know where I'm going.
honest time here, I'm going to let you know I've probably driven a few times before Uber and Lyft that I probably shouldn't have. I mean, I wasn't drunk, but I probably shouldn't have. You know, you're just like, I got to get home. You know, I'm a little buzzed.
Right?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I would never. I mean, I shouldn't have done it. I get it. You know, crucify me. I don't care. But I would never. I'd be like, my wife. You know, when we go out, like, even if we're not planning on drinking, we take one, because if I do, then
you're covered.
yeah, then I can still have fun. So, some of the stats, it says 88% of people, 21, agree that Uber has made it easier to avoid driving after drinking. Well, it's kind of a duh, don't you think? 78% of people say that since Uber launched in their city, their friends are less likely to drive after drinking. Okay. I thought this was about accidents. And then it says 57% of people who use transportation network services, like network services. Not a transportation company.
Network service.
Well, they paired with Uber, so you know Uber's like, yeah, you need to put it in like this. Services like Uber agree without Uber, they'd probably drive after drinking more often. I mean, it's really true. In fact, that's 57%. I would feel like it should be higher.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it's been great. Not just the accidents, but let's look at the stats for arrest. I mean, the cops.
Now they're just at Mojo's breaking up the drunk fights. I mean,
Yeah.
You know.
Mojo's?
Oh man, I've had it bad there the last.
Really? I always say that the Bob.
Oh, the Bob is
and like
Yeah.
Well, you saw Nick's video from the Front Cam Friday one. Those guys getting arrested at the intersection, so it happens occasionally.
Right.
People get mouthy, but
I picked up a passenger the other day, and all I could think of was your guy from the Bob.
Hmm.
And she was so shooken up because she went to leave, and she said it was just a trail of blood going down the steps. And she was legit shooken up in the back. Like, thank you for coming to get me.
Yeah, it's
It was
crazy.
time to go. And she's like, you know what? You don't go to the Bob to go to the Bob. It's just kind of where you end up because everybody's there. But she's like, it's so bad there.
it is interesting when we're exposed to all that media where we see the violence and we look at it and what do? Unless it's like super cringeworthy, you're just like whatever. But if you see that happen, like how upset she was, like live, it's upsetting.
Yeah, she
It
was.
is.
I mean, she was pretty shook up.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about is there was an article that came out, a Bloomberg article about women making less than men
On Uber.
On Uber.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah. Rob, thanks for that link there.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't.
Maybe they just drive less.
So I did read this one. I'm trying to find that was part of it.
And also the speed. Men drive faster.
Yeah.
So.
They said they
Really?
make 7% less per hour. Other factors behind the discrepancy are experience and routes, which is kind of stupid because if you hit go on the GPS, they all Waze, Google, Apple, they're all going to take generally the same route.
You know, there's so many factors that could be into that to the point where they're more selective on who they're saying accept to.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm trying to. They said the hourly earnings is $21.28 for a male and $20.04 for a woman, which that's
not a huge
that's
gap.
Like plus
though.
and minus an error. Doesn't that seem pretty low?
Seriously.
I mean, I guess it's 7%, but
I feel like the article was just like a bait and switch tactic to get people mad.
yeah. So this is where I thought this was kind of interesting. It says they're more likely to drive faster, obvious.
Yep.
Log more hours, obvious.
Yeah.
And pick more profitable locations to serve. It's kind of hitting on women not being as smart because they don't know how to.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
I don't either. That's why I'm like, why? So men are better at picking the hot spots? I mean, it's kind of just as you learn, you kind of know where the hot spots are. I thought that was kind of. I remember reading that yesterday. I was like, that's not going to go over well. Because basically, it's a roundabout way that says they're not as smart. I mean, really. So, what does it say? How many female drivers have you had?
That is definitely disproportionate.
1.4 million males and 512,000 females.
Well, it's almost like fishing. Like how many? When you think of somebody who goes fishing, you think of a man. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things.
That's sexist, bro.
I know, right?
Hashtag feminism.
Hate on Ben Day.
Right.
It's true.
It says that the company, I mean, this is from Bloomberg, but there's 3 million active drivers worldwide. Just that stat, kind of let that sit in a little bit. And we talk about support for 3 million. Now it says active. Does that mean their accounts are active, right? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, we'll leave the woman thing alone. It's kind of funny. All right, 2 fun things. I actually copied and pasted pick more profitable location to serve. See, I was reading it.
You
I
were,
couldn't believe that they wrote that. Super Bowl. I used to really be into football a lot more in the Lions, but I don't watch it anymore. I did watch the Super Bowl, and it was a great game. Normally, I'm like, watch the first half, eat some food, halftime show, peace out, going to sleep.
Yep.
And the game was really good. I watched the entire thing. I don't know about you guys, but
I'm not really a football fan, but I did watch the last 10 minutes of the game.
Okay.
And even not being one to get into football, I was into it. I mean,
It was
a nail biter in a lot of ways.
It was a good game. I think last year, and normally for me, I don't really watch it either, but last year I think I watched the first or second quarter.
Yeah,
well, that was the next day to see if I won any of my squares.
Well, yeah I should have gambled more. I usually do some square thing, but I never did this year. But last year, okay, do you even know who played last year?
No.
See, that's what's so crazy about it. So the Patriots played. They won the championship, but they played the Falcons. Didn't know this, Reddit. See, I'm going to admit it. They were, I think the Patriots were down 27-3 at halftime. So I did watch the first half, but then just stopped watching and woke the next morning and they had won. They had come back and won in overtime. So, yeah, that's about my Super Bowl thing. Some of the ads were pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Alexa. The Alexa was really funny.
Those were good.
A lot of hate on Ram for the Martin Luther King thing. I actually liked the ad. It kind of spoke to me a little bit, even though it was trying. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, you use the Martin Luther King to sell trucks." I'm like, come on, they're not the only ones that do it. I mean, did you see that ad or not?
I did not.
Okay. Did you? You guys suck.
Sorry.
I was probably talking to you, so you
can't
complain to me.
So the last thing is our awesome.
It's kind of nerdy, but
it's
awesome nonetheless.
Nerdy.
You're really excited about this.
I got excited. I should have waited to show you guys so that you could hear how high pitched I was about this. So this is the is it SpaceX?
Yeah.
And I don't really care about what they put into space. I am super excited. So basically, what happened is the internet broke. Stupid internet in this cave. Look at this ad. Jeez.
Video playing in bottom right.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
I didn't notice.
Oh, now I have to watch it on the main screen? Well, good thing we're not showing this on the screen to everyone, because we would fail.
What is that?
Basically, the boosters that come off normally drop in the ocean. These suckers come down, and they turn some booster...
Fan? I don't know.
Flame! To slow it down. And then these legs just come down and it lands perfectly. Just
graceful.
Like and that's the Elon Musk thing, right? Like, I'm super don't know a ton about it, and I hate that this ad is on here because I really want to watch it again. Yeah, it's making me watch the ad right there.
Oh.
But, it's kind of a cool game.
Yeah, let's play.
I get suckered into this stuff. And then I download it on my phone and I play it for a week and I'm like, this is stupid.
It's boring.
I'm going back to Clash Royale. Do you guys play Clash?
Oh, yeah.
No.
You do?
I do. Well, it's been a long time. But
I played before you got the game. Alright, so it's playing right now. See, look at that.
They land.
It's a soft landing.
That's incredible. They don't tip or anything.
Nothing. Now, they were saying that one of them did not do it. I don't know how they had 3 of them, but that's super crazy. Watch it one more time. This is exciting. Another ad? What is this, YouTube?
Seriously.
Skip if they're getting paid
in
for that.
5, 4, 3.
All right, 2, 1, launch. Skip ad. Yeah, that booster blows. And the technology of that thing folding down, it's not that big of a deal. And just like, hit a button.
Yeah.
But pretty
How
cool.
environmentally friendly of them.
Well, I wonder why they did that. Is it for the environment, or they just want to reuse them again? Or just because they want to do it and say, look
just
at
say
what
we
we
can
did.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Elon Musk. So I think that's it. We've been going for exactly an hour.
Perfect.
58 minutes on the audio. 60 minutes on the live. So this is our longest podcast to date.
It is.
I think we usually go like 45 minutes. So I do try to keep track of the time. So I hope it wasn't super boring for everyone out there. Hopefully it's still streaming. Did you get any texts from
I didn't.
our boyfriends? Well, that's good.
I dropped my phone.
You drop your phone?
Yeah, like a long time ago.
Nothing. Awesome. So thanks for watching, guys.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Did you just say?
I said thanks for
I'm
you
sorry.
said thanks.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
No. Thanks for watching.
All right, you guys have it. Oh, you know what I realized? I should have had my wife come down to turn us off on live.
Oh, yeah, 'cause now somebody's going to
This
have
would
to
be
get up and
super
walk
awkward,
over.
so, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
We'll just
watch.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I found a microphone stand. It didn't record.
That's not it. Nick went to sleep. Perfect. Are we still on?
My band isn't a dump. She would watch it. We're still on audio on the podcast part of it, but I think we might.
You
still
got
be
your
on
YouTube going.
Yep, we are. We have 0 views. I knew we would on YouTube. How do you turn this?
It's your phone.
Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. My internet company's calling me and asking what I'm doing here. Now it's fun to go look at all the comments in the
In the video?
In the video, yeah. Thanks everybody for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Couple of things I just want to touch base on. We do have a Patreon account. The address is patron.podbean.com/grrideshare. Basically what that is a kind of a monthly pledge to help us with equipment, bandwidth, a whole slew of things. You can pledge $1 a month, $5 or $10. Each of those tiers have different rewards that you get from us, which is pretty cool. I did talk about it on the podcast, as you heard. To follow us on social media, on Facebook, we're at GR Rideshare Adventure, Twitter at GR Rideshare, and YouTube GR Rideshare Adventures. Please go and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. It means a lot to us if you do. Also, review on iTunes would be great. Like to get us up in the search results. Even if it's a negative review, I guess it's better than nothing. If you do leave a 5-star review, we will read it on the podcast and give you a little shout out. So again, appreciate everyone for listening and have a great day.